Hey everyone, this is Paulina on the Finnish Path and welcome to my series of sample readings. Like many of you already know, I use a lot of spreads when I do my readings, and earlier it occurred to me that perhaps you would be interested to see how the spreads work and how I use them and how I interpret them, and that is what this series is all about. And today we will be tackling the classic Celtic Cross spread. Now this spread is probably the best known spread in the world, and there are many different ways that people do this. The positions can be different, and well, generally the way people read this spread can be different. So the method I will now show you is my method, the way I interpret the Celtic Cross. But there are no wrong ways of doing this. So if you see someone else doing something different with this spread, they are not making mistakes or they are not wrong. It all depends on the reader. Now, Celtic Cross is a really great tool for general readings. That's when the querent doesn't have a specific question, they just want to know where they are at, what's going on in their life, and what is significant in their past, and perhaps what they are headed for in the future. But this spread can be used to answer questions as well. I seldom do, but many readers do. They answer specific questions with this spread. And also we can make a Celtic Cross spread about a certain area of life that the querent is thinking about. It can be their domestic life or relationships, or can be career reading, anything at all. It could even be health if you do health readings. I personally don't, but many readers do, and Celtic Cross can easily be used for that as well. Now, like before, like in the other episodes of this series, there is no actual querent here, so I am not doing a reading for a real person. This is only a sample reading, and just to show you how I technically do Celtic Cross, how I interpret it. Okay, so here we go. Like I said, there are 10 cards, and the first position is the current situation. Oh, and by the way, don't worry if you can't see the cards properly. I will lift them up closer to the camera so that you can see them when I go through them. So this is current situation. And then number 2 is obstacles that are currently blocking this current situation. And then number 3 is distant past. This is something that the querent has learned before during their life. And then recent past, this is what has led the querent into this situation. Then number 5 is possibilities. This is what the querent is getting ready for, this one. The number 6 is near future. This is what is going to happen next for them. This is the actual cross. And then we have 4 more cards that are advising, giving advice about the situation, the main situation here in the cross. And some readers I know leave these last 4 cards face down, but I don't. I always open them up as I go. as I do the draw. But that's if you do leave them face down, then they don't distract you so much. But I don't mind the distraction, so I just open them up here. And number 7 is the querent's attitude or influence to this situation, this one. Then number 8 is how others see the querent or the situation, or how they influence the situation. So this is external influence. Then number 9 is the querent's hopes and dreams. And number 10, there we go, this is possible outcome. This is where the querent is at the moment heading. Okay, we have all our cards on the table now. Right. Now, what I usually do first is I look at all the cards here on the table. Now, this can be a bit daunting. We do have 10 cards here, so that is a lot. So I usually look at the individual numbers of the cards to see if there are any patterns forming or any repetition or anything like that. But since there are 10 cards here, I don't look very deeply into the numbers of all the cards on the table. What I do look at is I spot the major arcana cards. We have 2 on the table at the moment. And then I also look at possible court cards. 2 of them as well. So there is some, the major arcana cards, if there are a lot of them, then this situation would be a kind of a life lesson for the querent, something they have to learn in life before they can go forward. But we only have 2, so that would mean that this whole situation is, well, it's an everyday thing. It's a day-to-day life kind of a thing. It's not necessarily a major issue, major step in their life journey. It is more today kind of a thing. And especially since the major arcana cards we have are here in the last 4 cards and not in the main cross, which is the issue itself. And then the 2, we only have 2 court cards here. And I read the court cards usually meaning personality traits of the querent, but they can also mean other people who are in the querent's life and influencing them in some way. It depends on how the draw opens up for me. So, but generally these suit cards are about the querent, describing their personality. Okay, so that's for the numbers. And then I go for the suits. Now that's often very revealing, looking at what suits we have here on the table in all of the cards. We have 1, 2, 3 wands, and then we have no cups. Why don't we have any cups? Cups are my favorite, sorry. Cups are emotion. Oh, sorry, and wands, they are thought and intellect and action and things like that. Yeah, creativity as well. Okay, there are no emotions here, so perhaps this reading has nothing to do with relationships. We could perhaps guess this might be the case. Then swords, we have 2 swords. There were 3 wands and 2 swords. Oh, I just lied to you. Wands are not about thought and intellect. That's swords. Okay, I'm getting mixed up here. Sorry. Wands are about action. Action, 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 and passion. The element is fire. And actually doing things, making things happen. And yes, about creativity. Right. And then swords. These are about thought and intellect, things that happen inside your head, using your head over heart, and reasoning things. We have two of them. And then pentacles, which are, the element is earth, and pentacles are about domestic things like home and money and work, and also health, physical stuff, material aspect of life. We have 1, 2, 3 pentacles. So we had 3 pentacles and 3 wands and 2 swords, and cups were missing. So since cups are missing, emotion is missing. I would guess this reading is not about relationships. It's not about emotions and love and things like that. It is about doing things, one's action, perhaps creativity, and the pentacles as in domestic life. So this is very possibly, this issue has to do with home and everyday life. Could be career as well. Okay, this is what I get from just looking at all the cards and the numbers there and the suits there. And now we start going deeper. Now, the Celtic Cross is, there is a meaning to each individual position, but you can read Celtic Cross just by reading the card together with the position. But to really crack this spread open, you need to compare cards in different positions to each other. That really makes this whole spread work. And usually when I read a spread, I do this kind of comparison after I have gone through each individual card in their position. But with Celtic Cross, I do it at the same time. So that's what we will do now. We will go through each individual card in their position, and at the same time we will compare that card to another card here in some other position to form stories and continuation here, to form stories and journeys and cause and effect. Okay, here we go. We start. First, number 1 is, I wonder if you are getting a glare. I can't really, I think this might be better. This situation was the current situation. Sorry, this position is the current situation. And this is the root of the issue. And it is why the querent comes to us in the first place. And looking at this particular card, this is 4 of Pentacles. Someone is hoarding their money. Someone is sitting on their treasure and trying to hold on for the dear life in fear of losing their coin. This is about stagnation. And I would say that this non-existent querent is feeling stuck. They are afraid to move, and they are afraid that they would lose what they have. So they are stuck. And that's the root of the issue. And then what is crossing them? Position number 2. What is blocking their progress? With this card, it's a good idea to look at the number of this card, provided this is suit card. Comparing the number to this card. And as you can see, this is number 4. And this is Knight of Wands. And Knight is number 12. So this block is really strong compared to the main issue. This Knight is stopping our querent from moving on. And as you can see, the Knight in question, he is the suit is Wands, so he is full of passion. He's an action man, and you can see it from the picture. His horse is mounting up, and he's barely holding on, and he's, you know, he's ready to go for it. He's all, you know, he is really looking forward to the battle. He's not charging yet. He's still holding his horse though, but he is itching for it. So these two together, well, there was stagnation here, and then what is blocking the stagnation or hoarding or holding on to your own is this desire to go out to battle. Well, that's interesting. It would be, you know, somehow clearer if these were the other way around, if this was blocking the action. Usually action is something we are, you know, looking for. But this time, it seems to me that this is what the querent desires. They don't want to act. They want to stay where they are. And this is bugging them. They have a feeling they should be charging forward. So that's creating a kind of a you know, confusing situation for them. I bet they feel really restless about this. Okay. Then moving on to position 3. And this was distant past. This card talks about something the querent has gone through in their past, and they have learned from this experience, and they have gained a kind of, well, tools, so some ability, some piece of knowledge or know-how that is for some reason relevant to this situation. And that's why this card comes up. This is 10 of Pentacles. Happy homes going on here. Yeah, well, this is about homecomings. This is about arriving to the final destination and achieving your goal. It's also about a new cycle, something starting again. And comparing this to the first card, these are both Pentacles. Both are about domestic life, material things, but they are also, Pentacles are about security. And it seems to me that the querent is scared at the moment, scared of losing what they have. Now, this card is reminding them that they have been in this situation before. They have been in a situation where they had a lot, and they had a lot to lose as well, but they didn't, and they did move on because this situation is in the past. So what we would need to do would be to remind the querent that think back to your past, think back to a time of satisfaction and tranquility and achievement and having a lot, and you moved on, and look where you are now, and think about how you moved on. That is the skill you need to be able to get out of this stagnation here. Okay. Then position number 4, this is recent past. This is, in a way, the reason for this situation. And you see, this is another 4. This is also about stagnation or perhaps hiatus, resting and inaction. Well, that makes sense. They stopped doing anything. They just pulled away from everything in recent past. And now they are here, feeling anxious and scared to move. They moved from willingly slowing down to being scared to move. Okay. That's kind of neat. There is a story there. Then position 5, this is what the querent is getting ready for. This will be in the future, but what is going on right here and the way they are trying to get out of this situation is what is preparing them for this situation. Now, this card, Page of Wands, this is about exploration, also about study. So, going forward from this situation will make them ready to start again, start studying again, and start a new adventure. It will open up the world around them again. That's a pretty neat prospect, in fact. But they do need to get past this block first. They are getting ready to go there. And then number 6, this is near future. This is what is heading their way. Sorry, cards wobbling about. This is this is heading their way. This is coming next. Now, as always, our future is not carved in stone. So when we do a reading like this card needs to be explained to the querent to make sure that they understand that, yes, this is where they are headed, this is coming next, but they can change it if they want to. This card can be changed. It's up to them. It depends on what they do here. So the power is on them. But at the moment, the way they are now, they are headed towards a decision. They will be in a place where they have to make a decision. And it looks like it's a kind of a leap. It is going to be a leap of faith in a way. They won't see clearly what they will be, what the options are, and still they need to make the decision. So this is coming their way at the moment. Okay. Thinking about this pair here. Yeah, well, there is a decision waiting to be made here as well. Because of the stagnation, they need to decide if they go forward. And if they do go forward, they will come across another decision that needs to be made. Okay, their path is forming right before their eyes. Okay. Then another Oh, we have now gone through the actual cross, the 6 cards here. And there is something else I want to show you. There is a really nice 3-card spread going on here. Past, present, and future. You see? Past, present, and future. Right. Willingly stopping, feeling stuck, can't get forward, and going ahead to a position where they have to make a decision. So they've been hitting the brakes here, and they are standing on the brakes here, and sooner or later they are going to have to decide which way they will turn. Nice little thing going on here, right in the middle of Celtic Cross. This spread is so versatile. I just love it. This is my go-to, in fact. Okay, we've done the main cross now, and now we start tackling the 4 cards here at the side. Now, the first 3 cards here, these are advisory cards. These cards give advice and insight and depth to the current, to the actual situation here in the cross. So while we start going through these 3 cards, it's a good idea to kind of keep our eyes peeled to see if one of these cards somehow reference to something that is going on here in the main cross. And we start with position number 7, and this is the querent's attitude or influence to this main issue. We got the 10 of Wands. Oh well. Drudgery going on here. 10 is actually, well, again, 10 is achieving the goal. We had that here. In the distant past, that the querent has learnt and already knows how to do. This is emphasizing that, this card. That look back and remember what you did then, and perhaps do it again. But just looking at this card, the querent can influence this situation by working really hard, being really industrious. Also, in fact, being methodical. This dude here in the card has 10 wands, and he has gathered them together in a very specific way. They are not just a bunch of wands, but he has actually, seems as if he had arranged them in this formation so that he can move 10 wands at the time. 10 is quite a lot. So if he had just, you know, grabbed them and tried to move, he would probably be dropping wands all over the place. So he is being methodical, but he is being active. This is the wands card. This is about action. So he is being active. He is actively doing something. He is actively moving these wands, this dude here. And that is what the querent should do. This is how they should view this situation. They need to actively break this block here. Okay? Then position 8. This is external influence. This is how the querent's surroundings or the situation they are in, or the environment, or the people in their life is affecting this situation, and also viewing the querent themselves. And here we have number 6. This is number 6 is about working for the community, and it's about communication. And in this picture you can see someone handing out alms, so doing charity work for your community, perhaps this person is doing. Giving without expecting to receive. So, all in all, it seems to me that the querent doesn't need to worry about their surroundings or the people around them. They will not be blocking them. They will not try to stop the querent from moving forward from here. In fact, they are quite willing participants. If that is what the querent wants, if they need help, the people in their life will help them. Yeah, looks good. Also, comparing these two cards together give us an idea which of these influences is more powerful, querent's own influence or the external influence. And this being 10, this being 6, the querent themselves are in the driver's seat here. That we can kind of surmise. I'm just looking if this has any... Well, this is kind of also pointing to this card, in a way that this is about affluence, it's about plenty. And this card is definitely about a situation when there was plenty of everything for everybody. So this card is also emphasizing something from the querent's past. Okay. Then position number 9. Now this is an interesting one because this card has two meanings. This position talks about the querent's hopes and at the same time the querent's fears. So the card in this position should reflect both hopes and fears. Okay, well, we got the Chariot. This is actually a perfect card for this position because, well, there was stagnation going on here. The querent is scared of moving, doesn't want to move, wants to hold on what they have, but something is urging them forward. Well, that is perfectly mirrored in this card. It really is all about the querent themselves. They are the one on the driver's seat. They are the ones rowing the boat. It is up to them if they move forward or not. So they are not a passenger, in fact. They have the reins. And this is something that they hope for. They hope that they could be the managers of their own life, but at the same time it scares them. They are afraid of being the one who makes all the decisions. That makes perfect sense. How cool. Also, this is a major arcana card, and comparing this to the querent's influence, their hopes and apparently especially fears are a lot stronger than their influence on the situation. So this is a big hurdle for them. They really have to tackle their fear of moving forward. And they can't move forward. They can't start carrying the wands and doing the work until they do tackle their fears. It's a really big step for them. I suppose that is why this card is being pointed out all the time, because they have done it before, and it is apparently essential that this non-existent querent remembers that they have done it before. They have moved forward before, and they have been successful in doing that. This querent, this non-existent querent, seems to need a lot of encouragement. Okay, then the final card. This is the one everybody's always waiting for. This is the potential or possible outcome. This is waiting at the end of the journey. Here, the journey of the querent. This is what they might reach, the Hierophant. Now this is quite cool, because the Hierophant is a kind of mediator, someone in between the mundane, everyday life and the higher level. This dude here is a shaman, so in order to become a shaman, you need to tap into both the everyday level and the higher spiritual level. Now, isn't that fab? That's actually quite a tall order for any normal person. So, if the querent is able to unblock this blocked situation and make the decision and take the reins or the oars and start driving or rowing their own life, they can learn new things, start new adventures, explore life again, and they can become someone who is in touch with both the everyday level and the higher spiritual level. They can become, in fact, they can become a teacher of sorts for other people. They can become someone other people would rely on and depend on. Oh. Okay. So this is the technique I use to unlock the secret of Celtic Cross. There is, it's always about the cards on the table, the way the cards interact with each other. So there are an infinite number of possibilities as to how the Celtic Cross can open up. But many people find it intimidating looking at all these cards here on the table. But like you saw, I took a very general look at all the cards at once, right in the beginning, just to give us a gist of what's possibly going on. But after that, I only looked at 1 or 2 or 3 cards together, compared them together, made these mini readings like the past, present, future. 3 cards together it's not daunting. That's easy. That's really easy. So Celtic Cross is a mountain to climb, but you don't have to leap all the way to the top with your first leap. You can take small steps. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and like before, I will be writing all this down in my blog, and you can find this posting and also all the other spreads I have gone through earlier in my series, in my blog, and if you want to follow this series or whatever happens in my blog, you can subscribe by entering your email address there, or if you prefer watching videos to reading blog texts, then you will be able to do that real easily. At the end of this video, there will be a small logo of mine that will appear in the lower right hand side corner right here, and when you click that, you can follow my YouTube channel. And also, Celtic Cross is, of course, a reading I do for my clients, for my querents. So if you feel you would benefit from a reading like this, then you can find this reading in my web shop, obviously called Celtic Cross, and you can order it from there. Now, we are nearing the end of this series, so next week, on the 27th of June, that's Wednesday, I will be making a sample reading, my last sample reading of a spread, and that spread is really interesting. It is even bigger than Celtic Cross. It is 17 cards altogether, but it is very similar to Celtic Cross. It is just a bit more detailed in the positions of the cards. And this particular spread, Mirror to Your Life, is the name of this spread. It was created by two Finnish tarot readers, really skilled tarot readers. So this Mirror to My Life is very important to me personally, since it was created by countrymen of mine. But I hope you will come back then to see that sample reading, and in the meantime, have a lovely week. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, hey!